Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump straight into it, okay? If you tackle DIY projects or home repairs, you've probably hit this harsh reality. It's rarely the big tasks that derail the whole weekend. No, it's the little stuff. The small mistakes are the ones that end up costing us the most time and money. Damaged screws, slightly off measurements, clumsy tools, sloppy cuts, they can literally turn a fun project into a totally frustrating chore. But we're not doing standard advice today. Nope. We're turning those everyday frustrations into incredibly easy wins. Today, we're unlocking 20 specific handyman secrets for smarter DIY and repairs. They are so ridiculously simple, you're gonna wonder how you lived without them.
I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring down a completely mangled screw, or panicking while trying to clean up a massive paint spill, just watching your precious free time absolutely evaporate. But here's the secret to all of this. Working smarter doesn't mean dropping tons of cash on the fanciest gear at the hardware store. Today's structured guide is all about using clever, cheap, and highly effective solutions, most of them using basic household items you probably already own.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. Master stubborn screws.
So normally, when a screw is so damaged that your screwdriver has zero grip left, your first instinct is probably to just push harder and force it. But actually, that just strips the metal even more. The clever workaround? It's shockingly simple. Grab a wide rubber band and place it flat right between the stripped screw head and your screwdriver. You instantly get this massive boost in friction, and that stubborn screw, it'll back right out.
Let's keep that fastener momentum going with 2 more quick hacks. First up, losing tiny screws in tight, cramped spaces. Super common, right? Well, the fix is just to take a strong magnet and rub it along the metal shaft of your screwdriver. Boom, your tool's now magnetized. Those little screws will stick right to the tip, making the job so much less of a headache. Second trick, if you're driving long screws into wood, they can really easily split the material. To stop that from happening, always drill a quick pilot hole with a thin bit first. That long screw will glide in perfectly smooth and your wood stays completely intact.
Okay, but what if a bolt snaps off entirely, just completely broken? Feels impossible, right? Well, the extraction is really just 3 simple steps. Step 1, grab a pair of locking pliers to clamp a rock-solid grip onto whatever tiny bit of the bolt is left protruding. Step 2, apply a little bit of direct heat to it. Why? Simple physics. The heat actually causes the metal to expand, and that expansion breaks the built-up tension in the threads, which means, for step 3, you can just effortlessly twist out that broken piece.
Moving right along to Section 2, perfect cuts and measurements.
You know that incredibly awkward dance of holding a pencil in your teeth while wrestling a heavy tape measure? Yeah, let's stop doing that. Instead, take a small strip of masking tape and stick it directly onto the plastic body of your tape measure. Now you can jot down your measurements and notes right there on the tape as you go. It is so much faster. Oh, and what about making temporary marks on, say, a pipe or a curved surface? Try using plastic zip ties. Because they bend, they wrap tight, and hold your exact mark perfectly in place along any curve.
Now for flawless cuts and alignment. The absolute biggest problem with hand-cutting wood is a saw blade wandering off your line. The fix? Just clamp down a simple guide or a jig to keep the saw tracking perfectly straight. It's a completely dirt-cheap solution that gives you a totally pro result. Also, when you're working alone, stuff shifts around constantly, so grab a spring clamp. It works incredibly well as a temporary extra hand to hold everything perfectly aligned. Finally, need a bubble level but left yours in the garage? Just open the leveling app on your smartphone. For quick temporary checks, it's surprisingly accurate and totally saves you a trip.
Let's actually take a quick pause right here. Out of all these hacks, which one has been the most useful to you so far? Go ahead and tell us down in the comments. I absolutely love seeing what actually resonates with you guys. Plus, it really highlights a core theme of this explainer today. A little bit of cleverness will beat expensive, specialized gear every single time.
Okay, think back to your last big project for a second. Are you completely tired of cleaning up massive piles of dust every time you drill into a wall? It is such a universal pain point, isn't it? You drill one tiny hole to hang a picture, and suddenly your perfectly clean floor is coated in its fine layer of drywall dust.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, goodbye to dust and stains.
There are 2 instant cleanup hacks for drill dust that are frankly absolute game changers. First, just take a standard sticky note, fold the bottom up to create a little paper shelf, and stick it to the wall directly under your drill mark. All the dust falls straight down into that fold, leaving you with literally 0 cleanup. Or, if you've got a vacuum handy, just hold the vacuum hose right up against the wall near the drill bit while you work. The dust gets instantly sucked away before it can even hit the ground. Let's apply that same exact logic to painting and gluing.
So, wiping your wet paintbrush on the rim of the paint can? We all know that creates an absolute disaster and ruins the lid seal. The fix here is brilliant. Take a large rubber band, stretch it completely across the open top of the can, and wipe your brush against the band instead. All that excess paint just drips directly back into the center of the can. And for wood glue, pop a small piece of a drinking straw onto the glue cap tip. This little trick gives you a super controlled flow, which stops messy spills and keeps you from wasting product. For those pro finishing touches, well, sanding by hand can be really uneven, not to mention tough on your fingers. But if you simply wrap that sandpaper around a small scrap block of wood, you instantly get a solid grip and perfectly uniform pressure. The finish comes out so much cleaner. And here is literally one of my favorite tricks ever. When you're applying caulk or silicone sealant, do not use your finger to smooth the bead. It just gets everywhere. Use an ice cube instead. The finish comes out flawlessly smooth, and because the ice is cold and wet, the sticky sealant won't adhere to it at all. It's almost like magic.
All right, bringing it home with Section 4, total organization and control.
When we're talking about absolute command over your workspace, these minor tweaks change everything. Got a tool with a slippery, worn-out handle? Wrap it with grip tape or slip on some heat shrink tubing. Your control over that tool will immediately skyrocket. And what about the absolute nightmare of fishing cables down through a closed drywall space? Maddening, right? Well, this trick completely blew my mind. Tie a small, strong magnet to a string and drop it down the wall cavity. Then, take a second magnet on the outside of the wall, grab onto the inner magnet through the drywall, and just guide it exactly where you want it to go. It is practically effortless. Let's look at your actual shop storage. When your workbench is a chaotic mess, just finding the right screwdriver takes up half your time. A totally brilliant cheap fix is to cut short little sections of PVC pipe and screw them directly to the wall. You can just slide your hand tools or even spray paint cans right in for an organized, easy-to-reach setup. Have metal tools laying around everywhere? Mount some hidden magnetic strips right underneath the lip of your workbench. Your tools stay organized, out of the way, but instantly accessible without cluttering up your tabletop. Now, I want to share a really quick bonus hack just to show how versatile these concepts actually are. Out in the garden, trying to space out tiny seeds perfectly can be incredibly tedious. The clever fix here? Take an empty cardboard egg carton and press it directly down into the soft soil. When you pull it up, you've got perfectly spaced, uniform little divots ready for planting. It just goes to show that these smart, time-saving principles really do apply to projects all over the house.
Which really brings us to our final and honestly most important takeaway from today's sources. True scale is saving time and working cleaner, not buying expensive tools. I really hope that sticks with you from this explainer. Working intelligently is all about avoiding those small errors and discovering simple, effective workarounds using stuff you probably already have lying around. At the end of the day, cleverness is the real skill. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today. Before you go, I want you to ask yourself, what's one expensive tool or frustrating process you can replace with a little bit of cleverness this weekend? Stay curious, get out there, and build something, and I'll see you in the next explainer.